Welcome to Mortgage on My Mind, where we take the mystery out of mortgages and make dreams of home ownership a reality. I'm Natalie Salins, a top 1% mortgage broker with 20 years of experience, based right here in sunny Los Angeles. If you've ever wondered about pre-approvals, appraisals, or what loan product is right for you, don't worry, I've got Mortgage on My Mind, so you don't have to. Each week, I'll bring you expert advice, real-life stories, and insider tips to help you navigate California's competitive real estate market with confidence. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or just curious about how it all works, this podcast is for you. So let's talk mortgages, demystify the process, and make your real estate goals a reality. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome to Mortgage on My Mind. I'm Natalie Salins. I am here today with Abdi Sabet, and he is a real estate agent based in California. He's with the agency. He's in Northern California. And before entering real estate, he worked as a senior network and systems engineer. So he was able to draw from this technical background in his property work, emphasizing attention to detail and problem solving, and of course, communications. He specializes in residential real estate, working with both buyers and sellers. Hi, Abdi. Nice to have you on. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Natalie. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about how you got started, why you moved into real estate from your technical engineering background.
Yeah, great question. So I was in tech for the past 16 years. So I did a lot of engineering, I did a lot of data center setups. So it
Wow.
was a completely different world. But even when I was at tech, I still love to connect with people. I could get a lot of things done through emails and Slacks or HipChat and ticketing system, all those kind of things. But when we had problems, I always wanted to actually get people to the conference room face to face. And I always felt like that's a real like impact instead of going emailing back and forth and CCing everybody on the team. So I love that aspect
Right.
of working with people. And I always felt like I'm learning from other people. And I had a passion about buildings and real estate in general too. So just like during when we moved actually from Boston to California, I was still doing the remote work for my previous company in Boston. So during that time, I started studying for real estate. I said, I'll give it a try, see what happens. And as I went through it, and then during that time, we started buying a condo in San Francisco. And I
Okay.
the process with the agent. I worked with 4 different agents, didn't like all of them. And they were just a lot of taking out to lunch and those kind of things. It was nice, but I felt like they were just kind of like too salesy, which I didn't
Yeah.
like too much. And then I met this agent and we bought a condo. Anyways, long story short, when I got my license, I called her up. I said, hey, I'm getting to this. I want to test it out while I still had my tech work. And she gave me the opportunity and I fell in love with it. I started doing open houses while I still had my full-time job in tech. And I was
Oh,
making
great.
good money. I had all my benefits. And as I started doing this, so actually I love this. And I closed a couple of deals. And I say, actually, this is something that I could see myself doing this. And
Right.
and that's how I started. And then I did it for maybe 3 years part-time. And then right before pandemic, I
Wow, that's when you started. Interesting.
yeah, right before pandemic, before all the craziness happened, with all the shutdowns and everything, I pulled the plug from my corporate world in
From the
Silicon
corporate
Valley.
world.
Yeah, and then yeah, so here I am after like 5 years, 6 years almost. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you've been in it long enough to know the difference between like new technologies and platforms and old ones. So how do you think your engineering background has helped you in real estate? And I imagine you have a better understanding of AI and stuff. I'm trying to get into it more. I don't know why I can't use it. I go to ChatGPT and I try to pull info from it, but it always seems really generic to me.
Mhm.
And it just feels like by the time I pull information from it, I could have written that same email and been done with it. But I know there's way more to it than what I'm.
Yeah.
actually delving into, of course. But go ahead.
Yeah, from actually one of the interesting thing that I found out right from the get-go when I started, and when I was working with that agent in San Francisco, we're still in connected. She still sending me referrals and everything too. But one of the most important things I realized that a lot of the agents, they don't communicate. They don't have like really a good process in place. They just get the deal,
Mm,
they do open houses, and then they wander around for other deals. Or, oh, like I want to follow up with this lead and do this and do that. So I kind of realized that in the tech world, it's super important that you have to follow a system and you have
mm,
to kind of like document everything. Documentation is everything, and you have to communicate because even a single tweak on the whole system could bring the whole network down. And if 10 other people or even 2 or 3 different departments, they're not on the same page, it could mean disaster. It could bring the whole network down, and then the VPs and the COOs, everybody
right.
going after you. So I kind of realized that I said, oh, like this, the communication is one of the most important things that most people they don't do, especially on
Right.
the listing side or even the buyer side. How's the process going? Like when we work with buyers, just checking in time to time, at least once a week. Like how's your pre-approval is coming along? How's your appraisal? Just
Have the expectation of it. Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
exactly. Or with sellers, like if you're doing open houses, if there's nobody's showing up or there's no offers, still communicate that to the sellers. Just
Right.
so that's one thing that I realized that, and that's just bring communication is one of the number one things that I always do, and I document everything through my CRM, like I take notes and everything. So I have the same kind of like system in my real estate, which essentially when I learned from top producers, they following up the system, they document everything. When I looking at the notes from 6 months ago, oh, I talked to this person, this was the issues, or they were at this stage. Uh,
Mm,
and then ChatGPT, the funniest story is I had a coach actually for a year. And but I don't know if you've done coaching or not, but a lot of these coaching programs, it's great. There's nothing wrong with it, but you pay a lot of money and it's only 30 minutes every 2 weeks. And of course, they have other clients. ChatGPT is $20 a month and I have it in my pocket. So I use it every single day.
for coaching.
Coaching, I do a lot of the marketing. For example, one of the things as a newer agent when I came in, I want to do my farming, but the content was my issue. Like I didn't know, and I didn't want to be like kind of like a typical agent. Oh,
Right.
I sold this house. Okay, great, but 10 other house. I sold one house, the other agent sold 20. I said, how can I actually bring values to these people? What are the things that as a homeowner myself, what are the things that is important? Maybe contractors, maybe what's happening in the market, those kind of things. So I plugged that into the ChatGPT. I said, give me for the next 12 months, every month, what are the things? And if you actually be more specific, it gives you more specific detail.
I've been
So
told that.
I'm a newer agent. I want to do this. This is my plan. What do you think? He just gave me the list. And based on that, I said, this is actually saving me a lot of time. Now I don't have to
Yeah.
think about it too much. Drip campaigns is the same thing. Every week I send drip campaigns and my newsletter. And I'm not great with writing. English is my second language. I'm originally from Iran, so I speak Farsi. But so my writing, if you look at my sentences, if I'm not plugging into the ChatGPT, there's a lot of and. Like it doesn't end my sentences. It just
Right.
continues forever. And it gives me, and I give it to, okay, I want to be a little bit more effective, but I want to have like more value driven. How would I make those? And ChatGPT just creates those. And I want to be short. I don't want to like drag it too much and those kind of things. But pretty much I use ChatGPT every single day.
Every day. Wow.
And I use the voice command too. So sometimes in the car, I bring it up and say, hey, I have this question, or what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Or I'm trying to do this.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so behind on it.
No,
It
you're not.
very much intimidates me, but I know that it's bound to happen and it's coming, and I just have to get ready for it and do it. But I definitely feel intimidated by it. I'm old though. I've been in this business a really long time, and I have a very set way that we do things and do things successfully, knock on wood, and make it work for my clients. But I know there are more efficient ways, especially with like social media. There are more efficient ways to do it specifically with AI. I saw a like sign on the street the other day that said, and it was a realtor sign that said, AI won't take my job,
Mhm.
but somebody using AI will.
Yes, that's very true.
And I was like, oh shit, that rings really true.
And I think that's because even in my office, sometimes I talk to other agents or some other people, they feel like AI is going to take over and like exactly what you said, that the
Right.
sign. But it's really just a tool. It just makes you more efficient. For example, the farming that I was talking about. Past couple of years, I never did it because always like I didn't know what to do. And it took a lot of time gathering the content, those kind of things.
Right.
I can even say, this is the zip code, just go do a research for me. What's happening in that market? Give me, or one of the other things that sometimes I do time to time every quarter, I get the data from the MLS, I do it a PDF, I plug it into the SL, just give me everything about this market. And it just really, in a really nice format, it gives me like the average sales price per square footage over the past like 6 months or a year. And I can give it like different data points, what's been happening over there compared to last year this time. Oh, yeah, it's just a tool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it. I know it. So then how would you, is it still through AI that you would use because you have such engineering experience to help solve problems for clients? Or obviously the role of communication systems and making things smoother in the transactions, that's understandable. But are you also using it as like analytical thinking and things like that?
I do time to time, yes. Sometimes if I'm not sure, if I get to the point that I'm not sure what's the best way to respond because maybe I don't have that experience yet. I haven't been 20 years, 30 years compared to some other agents that have been in the industry. I don't
Right.
know how to handle that situation very well. So I asked ChatGPT, I still have these questions. This is the problem that I have. What do you think? Or what would be the best way to? And sometimes I said, go do a research, find out about top producers, Gary Kellers, Brian Buffini, some of the top names, Tom Ferry.
Sure.
Do a research based on those expertise and give me the answer. And it gives me like a detailed answer and then gives me the clue. It's not, I'm just going to do the exact, it's still, you have to use your common sense, obviously.
Of course.
I don't trust it 100%, but it gives me clue. I say, oh, actually, this is nice. I didn't think about this. And then I put my own way of thinking or response into it, and then I go from there. Not always works. At least it gives me something to move forward a little bit. Uh,
And I know, like, as far as like small independent agents, when you compete with like mega brokerages and stuff, what do you think is the strength of having like your personal brand and like the community presence of an agency, which feels like a really big brokerage to me, but maybe it's still something of an independent. What do you think that, how does that give you a one up in the market?
That's one of the things I've been thinking about it a lot because especially in my neighborhood in Montclair, there's a lot of like mega agents that they do like some of them that do like over $100 million sales volume. And been there, they spend a lot of money on marketing. So originally when I started, I felt, how I'm gonna be able to compete with these people. I'm nobody. I feel like nobody. I don't have a lot of sales around my belts and I'm grinding every day. But one thing I realized is if I'm actually focusing on the right things to do based on my own pace, it really doesn't matter. I just have to do the right things. And if I get in front of these people, they would connect. I think I was reading something from NAR. They were saying like 70% or 75% of the sellers, they just talk to one agent only.
Really?
Yeah, I think that there's yeah. And so look, if I get in front of these people, it's all about the trust. It's like when you're trying to buy a car, if you go, there's a bunch of like different salesmen out there. But if you actually go to a dealership and one person actually helps you out, really answer your questions, and you feel like you're in a good hand and you trust that person, the chances that you're going to go to other dealers is very low.
True.
That's how I feel. Like if I say, and if the people that don't like me or they don't want to work with me, that's okay. I move on. I go to the other one. So it's okay. I don't have to please everybody, but I'm sure there's people out there. But the biggest challenge for me, and it's still, I think, is actually getting a little bit more face to face with people because the background of
Mm.
tech world, I have a habit of sitting behind the computer too
Staying
much.
behind the computer. Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that it's been like the big transition for me to actually get out there and meet more people. And I
Yeah.
think how I could win more business. It doesn't matter because even the top agents, they have a bandwidth. There's just so much they can do.
Of course. Do you work with a larger team or is it just you?
I did work with teams, but that didn't work out pretty well for me. And I'm a guy like I want to run things the way I want to do it myself. No, I'm taking a longer route in order
Totally.
to go that. It's more difficult, it's more bumpy, but I'm actually learning a lot of things. One of the benefit it has that I realized that nobody's going to hand me a lead or a client. I have to actually, we're in a lead generation business. So I think in any sales in general, that really, because when I was part of a team, they give me open houses. They say, oh yeah, they didn't want to work with this buyer. They gave me that buyer. So I like to close it. I really didn't fully understand the concept of lead generation and prospecting, all those kind of things which I think so, in a way, yeah, I think that's a good thing to learn that from ground up because I think that built
Sure.
a foundation for me.
And for the lead generation, so you obviously will have a very good technical way around it. Would you say that you do use AI for lead generating as like 90% of your lead generation?
Not 90%, no, but I do use it time to time. For example, like one of the things that I was doing, I was paying almost like a $300 for the CRM, which had the dialer and those kind of things in it. And then I felt I'm not getting the returns out of it. So I asked ChatGPT, I said, I have this issue. I don't want to spend this too much money. What else do you recommend? And you already know. And because I shared a lot about my business, he already knows a lot of things about my business too. I said,
Oh my
basically,
God, that is
yeah,
so crazy.
yeah,
So it
I would,
remembers all of that for you?
yes, especially if you can ask that save this memory. Like, for example, like I want to call expired listings. Once I feel like, okay, this is a great idea, I ask it, okay, save this memory under this name, whatever, and then it
Wow.
can bring it up for you. And then it remembers. So yes, it's a scary, but I don't recommend like using personal information. So
Yeah. I thought you
just
had to start over every time, but
no, no.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it remembers. You could actually try it out yourself if you've been using the chat GPT. So like, just ask, how much do you know about me? And then you just,
Oh my God.
yeah,
I'll hate it. I'll hate it. That's hysterical.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. And is
Yeah,
that something when you were in engineering, is that kind of something that you did? Did you,
I
what's it
wish I
called,
had that. Uh,
program or I don't,
yeah, no, a lot of things that I did, it was more like a networking. So it was kind of like a hardware, but I did a lot
oh,
of
I see.
programming in terms of like configuring devices basically to make sure if you have device in, let's say, San Francisco and New York, how would you actually connect these two devices together so they can part of the same network?
Got it.
Like programming is that way, but I'm sure people in the tech world, like they just have a different, much more efficient because it,
Everything about it must be different now. Everything about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Crazy. Thank you so much for joining us. That was it's a great little quick hint on technology and AI and how you're letting it really help you in your business. I feel like I need to know more, even though I go on all the time to like different things. I know that it can really help realtors with listing presentations and like buyer presentations. You can ask ChatGPT to just draw it up for you and it draws it up. It's pretty amazing.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
The other things that I use it is disclosures when those disclosures long. So sometimes I put the disclosures in there and it says, list me all the red flags in there. And it just, instead of me going
Oh,
through
it reads it. Yeah.
the whole thing, and if I have questions, it will go and it gives me all the details. Paragraph 15.4 in roof inspection says this. So it makes you look much smarter in front of your clients too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But what if it misses something?
Absolutely. So that's one of the things that you have to use your common sense. I always go back and read it. I don't trust it 100%.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because God forbid you do miss something. You're like,
absolutely. No, I
yeah,
know some people that just copy and paste things, and then that's 100%. I would not recommend doing that. So
yeah.
you still have, because you still have the fiduciary duty to your clients to go actually in,
Right.
make sure the information is correct, because it does hallucinate time, ChatGPT. It does sometimes.
Bet it's just a computer.
Yeah, it is. It's just the
So
code.
crazy. Yeah.
But yeah,
Amazing.
if you think about it as just a tool, it's like internet. When internet came out, a lot of people never didn't know what it is or what to do with it and those kind of things. And but yeah, I don't trust the technology, even though I love technology, but I don't trust it 100%. But it's just another tool.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
All right, beautiful. Thank you again. It was lovely meeting you, and I hope to see you out there sometime.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you ever come to San Francisco, yeah, I'm here. So I'm local here.
Yeah.
And then yeah, this was fun. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
And
not too painful.
no, this was
Thank
great, actually
you.
fun. Yeah.
All right, everybody. We're going to put Abdi's information on the bottom. Please reach out to him if you have any questions. You're obviously in very good hands, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for listening to Mortgage on My Mind. If you're ready to start your mortgage journey or have any questions, I'd love to help. With 20 years of experience, I make the process as simple and stress-free as possible. Check the show notes for my contact info, and don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast. Until next time, I'm Natalie Salins, here to help make your real estate dreams a reality.